Hey, this is Ralph. I want to continue playing around with making charts in Excel using this home sales data from the census. I'm going to go ahead and select, actually, I want to do some pie charts, and basically selecting all of my data for pie charts is not going to be a smart move. Let's see why. I'm going to go and select all my data like I've been doing for column and line charts. I'm including this blank cell A1. I'm also getting my column labels and I'm getting my row labels. And I'm going to create a pie chart, and I'll do a standard pie chart. There we go. Yeah, see, I'm not too fond of this because it's not making me any smart. I can't just glance at this and really say, gee, what does this really mean? There's just too many pie wedges, I think, in order to really get some good value out of this. Certainly without any data labels. I can see from my data that this light blue color is the biggest pie wedge. Maybe not by much, but it seems to be the biggest one. And that light blue represents, oh, I got so many shades of blue here, that makes it tough too. So that's another problem. Since I've got so many pie wedges, it's hard to figure out exactly what we've got here. Yeah, I know, you can mouse over this and you can see this. This is basically homes under 150,000. But that's still, it's a little bit tough just to look at that way. So let's, instead of trying to, really go overboard interpreting this complicated looking, pie chart, let's just make it better. Now with pie charts, you're comparing ratios or percentages of totals and things like that. So what I could do is I could start to look at some very specific things. Maybe I just want to look at different categories for a particular month. That might be pretty interesting. So I could do something like this where I select all of my column labels, and then I select, let's say, the most recent month here that I've got data for, April 2012. I'm going to hold down my control key and I'll select this data. So I've got A1 through H1, and I held down control, and I've also got A13 through H13. So now I'm just looking at home sales in thousands from April of 2012. I'll go to Insert, Pie Chart. There we go. So still seems to be quite a few pie wedges, but at least a little bit easier to understand. So I can see that for April of 2012, the biggest pie wedge is this green, and I don't have as many duplicated colors, which lets me know that's houses 200 to 299,000, and I can tell that's a little bit more than 25% of the pie chart. It's actually about 30%. So basically 30% of homes sold in April of 2012 were in the price range of 200 to 299. And I can also see a little bit under 25% was the red wedge, 150 to 199. We can also start to make assumptions. We can also start to make, understanding, I guess, like this. 50% of all homes sold in April of 2012, I'm adding up the green wedge and the red wedge, it's about 50%. 50% of the homes sold were between 150,000 and, let's say, 300,000. 150 to 300,000. 50% of all homes sold. And of course, my smallest wedge, that light gray, is the really expensive homes over 750. Oh, maybe you caught this. I don't see my little gray wedge in my legend over here. It looks like my legend font size might be a little bit too big or overall. So if I make this legend bigger, then my light gray expensive homes wedge legend item will show up. So just a little marketing or formatting change. Now if you'd like labels in here, those are pretty easy too. Under my design ribbon under chart tools, I do have a lot of chart layouts that I could pick to make things a little bit easier. So here's one where I actually show the percentages in there. But we could also do labels, and that's kind of nice. So then you can actually see these house prices right in there. And then they also have combinations of the two, and you could kind of mix them up. Well, these are actually numbers as opposed to percentages. There we go. Go back to percentages. So that's kind of nice about a pie chart, but we could even simplify this even more with even fewer pie wedges. For instance, what if I wanted to compare, let's do this just for $200,000 homes. So I'm going to compare, I'll do January, February, March, and April. And then, let's see, well, in addition to doing this, I also want to get my label, so check this out. I'm going to select my empty cell A1. I know that's weird. Hold down my control key and I'll select January, February, March, and April. Still going to hold down my control key and I'll select the label 200,000 to 299,999. Hold down my control key and I'll select the data for that, that intersection there. So basically I just want to show 4 months of data for one particular price point. And I'll click Insert Pie Chart. And I can't say I'm terribly fond of this chart depending on what you're trying to show, but basically I'm really comparing months. So I can glance at this chart and I can see that, alright, so February of 2012, that's the biggest pie wedge, so that was the biggest month for home sales for this particular price point. My blue wedge, January of 2012, that's the smallest wedge, and that was the smallest, or the month with the fewest number of houses sold at this price point. So another way to show that pie chart, and basically this is all with selecting limited ranges of cells. Let's do one more. I just want to show you some basic formatting up here. I'll go ahead and select all of my column labels, and then I will select, I'll just get April of 2012. Insert. I'm going to do a pie chart. Now, I'm not going to do this exploded pie because there's an easy way to do that after the fact. Oh, there's a pie chart. Maybe do that in another video. I'll just get a standard pie chart again. And check this out. If I just click once on my pie chart, I've selected all wedges. And if I click and drag, oops, let me Control Z. I didn't really mean to show you that yet. So basically the thing was I let go. So if I click once, hold down, and then drag my mouse out, I will actually expand and put spaces there. I'm not too fond of that. Let me Control Z to undo. So check this out. I just clicked away to deselect. If you click once on the pie chart, you'll select all pie wedges. But if I click a second time on a particular pie wedge, I've selected just that one pie wedge. That's not a double click. That's click, pause, click again, and now I can click and drag and I can take that pie wedge out. And I might do something like that if I wanted to have a call out, refer to this, just emphasize this one particular pie wedge. Or I could click on this one over here and drag that one out. So just things you can do. Now if you click on the edge of a pie chart, notice I'm clicking in the top left, top right, bottom left areas of the circle of the pie chart. Well, there it is. Then I do get sizing handles, and I can make this pie shape overall bigger if I'd like, and then move it also over here. Four-way arrow, move that to the left. Got my lame little title up there. So you do have those options too. But that's just a little bit more with pie charts.